try to remember. I'll remember to give you the green light, I hope. Anyway, what do we got on? Just 27 people, huh? We have the Tina Valent seminar down in South Florida. We have a number of people there this morning. So that they have some effect, but it doesn't matter. You are the most important. You're here, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. I don't know if you saw the text this morning or you're just hopping on because you're like me, you have it in your schedule and you are there. But this morning, Tiffany was so kind to send this out. 7 C's, Part 4, how to have a cursed or cherished life and business. So this is going to be really, the 7 C's series is, it's really taken on a life of its own. It's incredible how, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, whatever you're the most comfortable. I call it God, and I call it life, and I call it universe. I call it all kinds of things. But God is just constantly bringing these people in my life that is serving this concept of the 7 C's, not the 7 C's that we dream about, that we've been talking about. You know, we all believe that one day we're going to set sail on the 7 C's and all that. And just a real quick review in case you're here for the first time. And I like this quote here by Mark Twain. When I was a child, people simply looked about them and were moderately happy. Today, they peer beyond the 7 C's, bury themselves waist deep in tidings, news, good and bad. And by and large, what they see and hear makes them utterly sad. Mark Twain. Now, that was before Facebook, wasn't it? That was before Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name them. And we are so consumed. And a lot of times we're constant, not a week of real good cherished life, but an hour maybe of a cherished life. Then it seems cursed. Then it's cherished. Then it's cursed. Then it's cherished. And it's cursed. Today, you're going to get the answer why that keeps happening. And you're going to get the answer what to do about it. And you're going to get the answer. You're never going to solve it. But you are going to have a more cherished life and a more cherished business because you are here and you are going to learn these 7 C's, the other C's there, the 7 C's. And I've got 2 more of them for you today. We said, we all we want our ship to come in, but we never put it out to port. The keel, the idea of keeping stability and consistency in your life. That's what a keel is for on a boat. And, it keeps us from going all over the place. But our keels are always so off that, we just take swings to the right and to the left so much. We talked about the torpedo. The torpedo is purposely designed to go to the left, to go to the right, to go to the left, to go to the right. However, it's only to go to the left a little bit so it can self-correct and go back to the right. So by the time it goes to the target, it hits it. And I think that's almost the way we've been designed, like a torpedo. But the problem is the ego loves to way to the left and the ego loves way to the right. And then it tells you you're no good. You're never going to hit your target because you're a no good for nothing torpedo. And what I always say in Soulful Wednesdays, all this stuff comes about from our BS, our belief systems, right? So how can we get to be that torpedo, that we get to our original design, where we only go a little bit to the left, then a little bit to the right, then a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but we're constantly hitting these targets and we're blowing things up in a good way. We're blowing up the joy in our life. We're blowing up the happiness in our life. We're blowing up the relationships in our life. We're our people that we're in relationship with are smiling more. I'm smiling more. How do we do that, right? And not go way to the left and go to the right. How can we conquer that ego? Well, today we're going to talk about that, how to get that cherished and that cursed balance. The left is the cursed. The right is the cherished. The left is the cursed. The right is the cherished. So how can we only get a little bit cursed? They can come on back, go over to the cherished and stay more on the cherished, but hit that middle, which is in between that. And you notice how that matches a lot of philosophies, yin and yang, and all these other philosophies about being that torpedo. Quit getting consumed with the left. And also don't get consumed with the right. We have a success and we beat our chest, or we'll go out and have a drink, or we'll, someone said it great the other day. Someone comes into the sales, they sell a real big deal. They get a $40,000 commission, and then they go out and buy a $90,000 car because they cherish the moment. Well, you know, this is what a good keel is about, is understanding this. So we talked about this, the cancer word in our lives, complacency. If you're down, if you're depressed, you're complacent. You're complacent with not without getting in that middle. You're being either you're cursing yourself too much, or you're cherishing too much, and you're not focusing. The 7 C's we talked about, originally the part 1 was, the clock. Can't manage time, only your calendar. You've got to have a calendar. You've got a time block. Contacts, use them or lose them. Commitments, a pledge or undertaking. Watch your commitments, but also make the great commitments. And what are you committed to? And then our concerns. We're so concerned about the national debt and inflation, but our damn checkbook is not even balanced. We're so concerned about national debt, and yet we're in our own debt. What are your concerns? What consumes you, right? 80% of all the things that people worry about never come true. And out of that 8%, about 90% of that 8%, you have no control over. So we talked about those. And we talked about our communication. Is it loving? Listening is the main thing. Is listening is loving. Concepts, the self-concept, how we perceive our behaviors, abilities, and unique character. All this is building, folks. This is going to be like a mountain. I'm going to call it the sea mountain. I just can't get over how these things keep coming up. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about consideration or condemnation. And if you do not, and this is almost like the torpedo again, to the left is that condemnation. To the right is consideration. To the left is condemnation. To the right is consideration. Get them in balance, and you will be a torpedo in your life, I promise you. So we talked about that. And what is it that we need to consider in condemnation? How do we do that? It was the 5 W's and the 1 H, the questions, who, what, when, where, and why, and how, right? The same that investigative reporters use, we need to use that in our lives. Who did it? It wasn't them really, it was maybe me. What's this all about? What can I learn from this? When am I going to get off of this roller coaster I'm on? When am I going to stop letting the ego take me so far to the left? When am I going to get my database straight? When am I? And you set dates. When am I going to get my body fat down to that single digit number that I just long for? When am I going to stop using the scale to judge my life and throw it out the frickin' door and go by how I feel? Where am I going to hang out? Who am I going to hang out with? And then why? What's my why? We always hear about the why, the why, the why. But this, either you take into consideration your uniqueness and who you really are, and we really consider these things. And this is all this is a PDF you're going to get today. Again, I keep collecting these for you. We've got to consider these things. We cannot conclude anything in our lives. It's always a consideration, not a conclusion. I've concluded so many things in my life that really were curses in my life. I had concluded they were solid, they were right on the money, and yet it cursed my life. So you always got to take everything under consideration. And if you don't take everything under consideration, especially these things of who we really are, and this idea of the soul and ego battle, this idea of the torpedo, if you don't take these things in consideration, you will wind up in condemnation. And I see it, I hear it all the time. Maria and Jean, are you on the call?
Yes, we are. We're driving to Tina's event.
Maria and Jean, they blessed me so much yesterday. Matter of fact, it was Sunday. And I got a text. She says, "Oh my God, I'm finishing up the Tony Robbins thing the last 5 days. Oh my God, thank you for pushing me. Thank you for pushing us." They went as a couple. Their life, you could just see it. It's all over them. It's beaming all over them. Guys, speak up, both you and Jean, and just in some tidbits, tell us what's happened just in those 5 days, because you took under consideration not what Fred DeFalco said, but what other people have been saying to me, and I'm just repeating it, that you got to work on you. You got to work harder on yourself than you do your business, work harder on yourself than anything else, and then everything else falls into place. So tell us about your experience.
Well, it felt like there was a giant Fred on the stage of Tony Robbins, because I kept hearing everything that you've been sharing and teaching us. And what was really crazy for me is that I kept seeing what the common denominator was with all these amazing, successful, beautiful people of all walks of life. And one of the ones that really stood out to me is, first of all, living is giving. They're such givers. And that another thing was he took us through an exercise that was super emotional, and it was virtual, so we're in our house and we're jumping and yelling and screaming and all kinds of stuff. So I said to Fred yesterday, I said, our neighbors either thought we were killing each other or having incredible sex, because it was just out of this world. And that exercise was to think of yourself 10 years from now if you stay where you are,
with the limiting beliefs.
With our limiting beliefs, and then think of yourself and feel it, see ourselves, feel what we would feel. And 20 years if we stayed where we are. And boy, that was powerful. I'm getting chills right now and I'm getting choked up.
Maria yesterday and Sharon, she choked up 4 times, and she said, "Oh, I'm getting choked up." And she tried to hold it back. I said, "What are you feeling right now?" What you're feeling is who you really are, how you were created, and these healers, these people who light up the world, like Tony, myself, and all of us people who try to light up the world, because we're figuring it out for ourselves still. And we talked about this, staying consistent. Tony Robbins has to jump in a 55-degree pool every morning to stay motivated. Okay. So what you felt, right, you guys felt, is who you really are. And then let me just switch over to Gene, Maria, because I know you guys are driving. You're going to pull in that garage and you're going to cut out. Gene, may I kind of be vulnerable? You be vulnerable. Go ahead. You tell them what we talked about yesterday.
I will go ahead and be vulnerable. My voice is a little iffy this morning, but I'm going to go ahead real quick, tell you that what the most impactful thing to me was how dramatically our beliefs how they dictate our life. Our beliefs become who we are. I have been sitting with just incredibly, my beliefs have not been helping me. I'm driving, so they've not served me. And what I learned is that I can change them. That as I work on myself, I can change my beliefs. I'm sorry. We are driving in traffic. I'm losing concentration and focus.
Let me help you, Gene. Let me help you. Look at this guy, folks. Look at this guy. Does he look like he's in great shape? Gene has been at the gym for I don't know how many years of his life. He's never missed it.
40.
But how many times has alcohol whipped your ass?
Every time I drank it, pretty much.
Yeah. And how many times has anger every day tortured you for the last 40 years?
I'd say probably about 50% of my waking time living. And actually, I want to mention real quick that since taking the Tony Robbins thing a few days ago, oddly enough, I have had one moment where I was angry for maybe 3 minutes, and I forced myself. I became aware. I was aware of it, and because it started feeding itself immediately. I felt that anger. It started feeding itself, and I realized I got to get out of that state, because it's gonna put me back with all my bad beliefs. The world sucks. Everybody hates me. I got to fight the world, and I changed it just like that. And It was because of the work that we did over 4 days. I mean, we immersed ourselves in this thing, and it really helped. It was so impactful. We really have to work. It's hard work, but it's well worth it.
Yeah. And we talked yesterday, Gene and I, really deep about his anger and that how it's tortured him all his life. I asked him who he was angry at, his father or his mother. He said, well, I'm not really angry at any of them. That's bullshit. We're all angry at either our mother or our father, usually. And, we kind of hashed that out for quite a while. But the thing is that now, here he's worked on his body all these years. You look at him, man, this guy's got his act together. But the problem is no one ever gave him the opportunity to work on his mind and his beliefs. And now that he's got that, and see what, 5 minutes of anger can destroy about 2 years of healthy eating. Let me repeat that. Just a little bit of anger or grievances can ruin all the other things you do for good health, folks. It's a mind thing. It's not a body thing. Ulcers don't come from what you're eating. It comes from what's eating you. And Gene has been eating away at all his life. He has back issues. He has real problems with his joints. But in a lot of this, watch what happens to Gene's body now that he's got this head straight, okay? Watch this. And now his head's not straight yet because it's a lifetime project. And this is where we're going to go today. I'm going to give you 2 more C's and in 7 minutes, I'm going to give you 7 minutes of a thing that will absolutely, if you pay attention to it, radically change your life and get you on the right track to be that torpedo I'm talking about. Guys, I love you. Thank you for taking the consideration and taking me up and encouraging you to attend that free breakthrough. And how much did you invest in the Unleash the Power? How much did you guys invest?
Financially, it was $395. But it's like, a drop in the bucket.
5 days of time.
Yeah, it was 4 days. 4 days from 10 to 10, and really we went
54 hours, and it was probably the best spent money I think that I've ever spent in my life.
All right, guys, I love you, man.
Absolutely.
Keep it up.
And I'm benefiting from his not being so angry so much also, because I'll tell you, our relationship together now is amazing again.
And I'm going to say this, Maria, and I'm going to say this to all the women on this call. Do not tolerate 5 minutes of anger from your loved one or your relationship. Not 5 minutes. You ladies have got to come up with a word in your life, and it's one simple word, and it's called unacceptable. You don't argue back. You don't debate. You don't feed anger. Anger is threatened value. If you got a man that's angry, he is threatened. He has threatened value. Look at him and say, how are you threatened today, my sweetheart? And be calm and just want to say, it's unacceptable. I'm not having this conversation. Women, you are stronger emotionally than us men, but you don't freaking use it. I deal with abused women. I deal with women who have been so abused, they end up murdering their children. We've got to get serious and take these things under consideration. Okay. So guys, thank you. You can tell the 7 C's has me wound up. I love it. You guys blessed me yesterday. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Enjoy Tina Valley.
Love you, Fred.
Love you, Fred. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys, let's get back to this. So consideration or condemnation. Gene has been going all his life condemning everybody with anger, condemning himself. He hates himself after he is angry. We're talking about. I have many people that I've dealt with in my life like that, and it's horrible. And where that goes. So let's get to where I want to get to. Last week we talked about the could haves and could haves and should haves and all that stuff. Okay, here it is. Cursed and cherished. Cursed and cherished. And these words can be interchanged. There's things you should be cursing. There's thoughts you should be cursing. There's people you should be cursing. As far as when I say cursing, I don't mean cursing out necessarily, but if they are not serving you, if they're angry, and you don't curse it, like saying unacceptable and walk away. I had one lady that was married to an airline pilot, a captain for 27 years. She put up with it for 27 years. She said, what am I to do? He's in a store. He'll start cursing out. He'll start yelling and screaming at the cashier and everybody, because, an airline pilot, a captain especially, he's used to a world. He pushes a button, things happen. He does this, everything's perfect. Because if it's not perfect, they crash. So his whole life has been perfect. I said, I don't want to use any names, maybe there'll be listeners one day. But I said, so-and-so, that's just the way but you've got to help him. You're not an airplane. People in Home Depot are not an airplane. She said, well, what was I to do? I said, leave, say unacceptable. Well, he was driving. How would I get home? I said, are you kidding me? You catch a cab, you walk. I don't care. It's unacceptable. You've got to curse certain things. And then you've got to curse certain things in your own life. I've got to watch alcohol. I have to curse alcohol because alcohol doesn't serve me. And I think I can be a social drinker, but not necessarily because it doesn't serve me after I do it. Anytime I have a problem with overeating, usually alcohol's involved. So I got to curse it. I can't cherish that moment of that nice one glass of wine because I'll want two. It's just my personality. So I got to cherish. Last night we had a big happy hour for our title company after the Tina Valent. And man, I wanted the scotch so bad. I wanted it, but I got soda water and extra lime. And did I like it? No, I didn't really cherish it, the soda water, compared to I would have cherished the scotch. But guess what? I cherished it on the way home. I didn't stop and get ice cream. I cherished it because I didn't overeat. Then this morning when I woke up, I felt great. I said, I cherish this moment. So we got to balance this. So let me give you 7 minutes to salvation to get you to be a real torpedo. How many of you would like to fix all this just in 7 minutes? Let me hear it. Amen. Anybody? Anybody?
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
You may have heard this. I want you to pay attention. There's going to give you 7 points, and then I'm going to go back into the positive intelligence to show you my results and talk about that. So let me play this for you.
As a Man Thinketh by James Allen is a work of art published in 1903. It will help you develop a growth mindset. I consider it one of the most powerful books on the planet because its message lies at the foundation of 99% of all self-development books ever published. Watch this video to the very end to learn 7 lessons that will improve the rest of your life. Lesson 1. Your mind is like a garden. A man's mind may be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild, but whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein, and will continue to produce their kind. James tells us that our lives will always be found to be related to our inner state. We are where we are in our lives because of our thoughts. If you're unhappy and living in a box under the stairs with no money, it's because of your thoughts. As Bill Gates says, if you were born poor, it's not your fault. If you die poor, it is your fault. So start cultivating your mind by planting useful seeds. To me, this means constantly learning, taking action, and thinking better thoughts. Lesson 2. The body is the servant of the mind. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. The difference between Jim, a miserable overweight person, and Clark, a happy fit person, are their thoughts. Clark thinks, "It's hard pushing myself to exercise every day, but it makes me happy and fills me with energy. The long-term payoff is worth it. I love eating healthy food every day because I value my health and body." Jim, on the other hand, may think, "I can't be bothered exercising today, so I won't. A bit of fast food for dinner won't hurt me. I've tried exercising and eating healthy for 1 week, but it never made a difference." Of course, you can't think you'll be healthy and magically lose weight and become happy overnight, but the habits and actions required to do so all start with the right thoughts. This brings us to our next lesson. Thought crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. On a daily basis, I think about growing a huge YouTube channel that makes powerful books more accessible to the world. If these thoughts weren't a daily habit, I'd stop posting videos and the channel would stop growing. The book doesn't tell us how to form habits, but here are my top 3 tips I use in my own life. Number 1, I write my thoughts down first thing in the morning. I write daily affirmations in my journal. An affirmation is basically a thought that you affirm to yourself. If you want to become a famous singer, write, "I'm a famous singer." But don't write, "I want to be a famous singer," because that implies you'll always be thinking about becoming a famous singer rather than actually being a famous singer. Number 2 is to understand the long-term benefit. This is the reason I was able to stick to a ketogenic diet for 3 months and eliminate both fast food and soft drink for over a year. Here's a list of benefits I get from eating healthy. Increased energy levels, increased strength, I look healthier, a stronger immune system, ability to handle stress better, think more clearly, a lower chance of diabetes and cancer, and a psychological boost for making healthy choices. There's hundreds more, so all of a sudden, a cheeseburger and a can of Coke is extremely unappealing to me. I'd rather eat a healthy salad and drink water any day. And number 3, I associate pain with bad habits. To quit drinking soft drink, I internalized in my mind all the bad things it was doing for my health. I no longer find soft drink desirable. Lesson 4. Aimlessness is a vice. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Have you ever had that moment where you're laying in bed, munching on some snacks, you stare up at the ceiling and you ask yourself, "What am I doing with my life?" It's easy to settle into daily routines with no real purpose. You wake up, have a shower, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, and do the whole thing over again. A video called This Is Water by David Foster Wallace is one I find myself constantly coming back to because it inspired me to aim for something bigger than myself, rather than succumbing to a life of monotony. So how do you find your purpose? Michael Unks, author of Become the Ace, says, go out and explore. Try new things. Your greatest talent may emerge from something you've never considered. The most fulfilled people always seem to have a purpose. Bill Gates dreamed of having a computer on every desk in every home in the world. Mark Zuckerberg's purpose is to connect the world. What's yours? The fifth lesson is, none but himself can alter his condition. A strong man cannot help a weaker unless the weaker is willing to be helped. When I discovered how much self-development books changed my life, I wanted to tell everyone about them. The thought of people living years of their lives with solvable problems drives me nuts. I could shove the book How to Win Friends and Influence People down Johnny's throat. I could list all the benefits and the impact the book has had on my life and how it can help Johnny. I may be able to nudge him in the right direction, but at the end of the day, it's up to Johnny to take charge of his life. That's why I don't waste time helping people who aren't willing to change. I focus on the people who are. Lesson 6. Gifts are fruits of effort, not luck. If you haven't heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, you're living in a box. Gary has become known as the social media expert. He runs an extremely successful social media company called VaynerMedia and serves Fortune 500 companies. As he got more and more media attention in recent years, he got so many emails from his old friends from high school saying, "Hey Gary, you're so lucky." Gary replied to every single email and said, "Let me clarify one thing. I worked every goddamn weekend and every holiday since I was 14 years old, so you can keep that luck shit in your pocket." Everyone has the power to be gifted or talented. It's up to you to put in the effort. I highly recommend watching Gary's video called Overnight Success if you're not convinced. There's a link in the description. Now for the final lesson. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. James says that strong, calm people are always loved and revered. One develops calmness by patiently developing their self-control. Calm people control their temper and embrace positivity whether it rains or the sun shines. We gravitate towards people who don't panic in dire situations. Here's the way I see it. If a meteorite was coming at Earth full bore, threatening to destroy the whole world, who would you go to for support? The calm guy sitting blissfully who says, "It's going to be okay." Or the other guy who's blitzing, freaking and shrieking, screaming out loud, going, "Holy crap, we're all gonna die!" Let's review the 7 lessons we covered in this video. Your mind is like a garden. The body is the servant of the mind. Thought crystallizes into habit and habit into circumstance. Aimlessness is a vice. None but himself can alter his condition. Gifts are fruits of effort, not luck. And calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. In the next video, you'll learn how to read a book intelligently.
Okay, so let's continue on that thought. That is James Allen's book. Now you ready for this? As a Man Thinketh, when you go to YouTube, look it up, James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. It's 1 hour and a 40-minute listen. Please, James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, get on YouTube and listen to that because that's a 1 hour and 40-minute book. It's about this thick. That's it. I give them out as gifts. It is powerful. So on that thought about our thoughts, I want to go back to this positive intelligence that we started talking about last week in the self-test. This is my results. And when I looked at this, I said, oh my gosh, I thought I had conquered a lot of this codependency. I thought I had conquered a lot of this. And so this positive intelligence, remember last week, and we were kind of chuckling at some people. They're going, well, I'm there, but I can't find it. I'm there, I can't find it. Look, so positive intelligence, if you haven't taken your test yet, your assessment, it's self-sabotage. And then as you come down here, it talks about it. I want you to study the site instead of just taking it. So as you come down, and it says, discover what's holding you back, discover your saboteurs. So this is going to give you your self-test here, right here, how we self-sabotage, discover yours. Okay, next. And then it's going to give you this free assessment. So you really know what they are. So please get into that because As a Man Thinketh, 1 hour and 40-minute read. get into positive intelligence, find out what your saboteurs are, and then you're going to start being able to be that torpedo. You're still going to go to the left, but it's only going to be this much. And then you're going to go to the right. You're going to go to the left, which is what? What is that left? It's this here. It's a curse. You're going to feel cursed. Then you're going to go to the right. Oh, I'm cherished. I just got a deal. Oh, not too much. Going back over here. But I want you to be a torpedo. And the only way you can be a torpedo, and it's really interesting. Here is a book in the 1908 that most positive things, and Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, all this, not Earl Nightingale, a lot of it originates out of as a Man Thinketh, which is a 1 hour and 40-minute read. And I loved it this morning. 7 lessons, 7-minute video. and here it is, the 7 C's. In the Hebrew, 7 is what? Is my buddy Ken Markman? Oh, no, he's at the seminar. You know, in Hebrew, 7 is the number of completion, right? 7 days in a week, right? So this positive intelligence, please dive into that. So how many of you have taken this? I'm going to stop share now, and I want to get the group involvement. How many of you have taken the self-test? Let's see. Okay, cool. Can you share yours, Liz? I had a couple of you share it with me. I thank you very much, by the way. Yeah, share yours, Steph.
I emailed it to you the other day.
Yeah. I didn't want to pop people's things up without do you have it there so you can get a hold of it?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I sent you mine the other day.
Yeah. It was great. Thank you. I was looking at them, and where's Claire? Is Claire on? It's amazing. Claire and mine is really close, especially the top couple ones, but she's not as restless as I am. So somebody hit share screen. You should be able to share, can't you, Tiff? Can you hit share screen?
Yes.
Or you can just read them. Yeah, or you can just read them.
Okay, so I'm a stickler. Mine is 7.5. I'm restless.
The top one is stickler?
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't have thought that, but I guess.
Yeah. When you go in and start studying these, you're going to see where you're going to then start saying, oh my gosh, now I know where it is. Keep going. Stickler and what else?
Where did it go? I'm so sorry. Hold on. I just lost it. Oh, there it goes. So interesting enough, the next 4 are both 6.9s. So I'm restless, I'm a pleaser, hyperachiever, and a controller.
They're all 6.9? Well, at least you're consistently screwed up.
I know, it's so bad.
But this is not about there's something wrong with us. This is about what is reality with us, right? So, when we were talking yesterday, Gene and I, he says, but I'm working hard. On my anger. I said, you can't work hard on anger. You're going to keep getting more of it, right? There's nothing wrong with you. You just have a belief system and you're angry at your father. We got to figure this out. So that's interesting, Liz. I don't remember that when I looked at you. I missed that. Wow. That's unbelievable. All right. Somebody else? Share yours. Who was going to share theirs? Steph, were you going to share?
Yeah. So mine is like a 9.8 pleaser.
Oh wow! Welcome to my world, Steph.
Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. It's a 10. I'm a pleaser. 10 avoider. So I don't like confrontation. 6.3 victim. 6.3 restless. 6.3 achiever. 5 stickler. 3.8 hypervigilant. Controller 3.1 and hyper rational 1.9.
Wow. Have you ever had any challenges with personal relationships?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot with my mom.
Okay. Yeah. So because that's because you're trying to please people, and then you avoid conflict, and wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Somebody else. Anybody else? If you haven't done that yet, please, what's George say? These calls really get you thinking, and most importantly, move in the right direction. Amen. And the idea of the torpedo too, guys, I had someone say to me this week that I was coaching, they said, you know, Fred, how do you keep so much on the ball and keep? I just chuckled. I laughed. I said, you don't get it. You don't get it. Nobody is on the ball. Not even Zig Ziglar used to talk about it. Tony Robbins. Tony says it's just 5 seconds of not being having a routine. I don't know how many of you know that, but he jumps in a pool 55 degrees every morning. He does it for physical benefit because he has some ailments and stuff, but he also does it to just make massive movement, right? To keep control. So, you know, we're all in this together, man. And this whole concept of the torpedo, which came from the 7 C's, I love that concept. Wow, that was pretty good. Whoever, thank you, God. This idea of the torpedo, just a little bit. Actually, Dennis Waitley used to say that, but I kind of, you know, compared it to the soul and the ego, right? So this positive intelligence is powerful. So let's open it up. Anybody else want to share their results? You guys can share the PDF. If you want to start posting the PDF a couple times so people have it. All right. Anybody, come on, go ahead and share. All right, takeaways. Everyone's doing their self-test, hopefully. Come on, guys, it's yours now. Let's do it. Open it up. Where's Claire? She's usually get it, or Daryl, or
I'm gonna call her right now.
All right, anybody else? This is your chance. Speak. I'm going to call somebody out. Who should we call out? Someone pick a name. I don't want to do it. George had to leave. He had a meeting. He had to leave it done. Who should we pick out? Who should we call out? How about Nicholas? Nicholas, where are you, my friend? Got that video off. How many of you want Nicholas to speak up? Nicholas is new with us. All right, there you go. Deborah Booth is going to speak up. All right.
I was asking, where do you get the self-test that y'all are talking about?
PositiveIntelligence.com. PositiveIntelligence.com. And they shared the link to the, did we share the link to the PDF, guys? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Tiff, you can share the link now, or Joe. Have we shared that yet? I don't see it. The PDF. Tiff, you there with us?
I'm here. We can drop it now.
Oh yeah, we drop it. Anybody else? Oh, Nicholas went silent on me there. Okay. All right, guys, it's all yours. We're going to start an early after party if we don't get going. Come on, George, call somebody out for me. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Somebody, I don't want to call somebody out because we'll catch them if they're not prepared, but if somebody's prepared and you've done this, let's share this because it's important.
Hey, George, by the way, man, this thing is powerful for the group. I'm going to really get into this for the group activities. That's not even the tip of this thing. There's positive intelligence. Last week I was saying, you know, you have your IQ, then you have the EQ, which is the emotional intelligence. Well, this is the PQ, the positive intelligence. And I don't know how I've ever missed this book all this time. And it's just radically changing my whole, it's phenomenal. It's been very, very powerful. All right. Okay. After party then. Rainey looks like she was going to speak.